Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is Accelerated Global Connections, and my name is Coach Les, and I'm having some wonderful technical difficulties. I am the captain of the St. Paul location. And this is AGC Talks. And we are going to this is Travis Sims, who is the CEO and founder of Accelerated Global Connections. And please forgive me for the horrible slideshow presentation at the moment. I'd like, if you are available, we would love it if you would play along today and go ahead and put in the city, state, and country, hashtag live or hashtag replay as you move along with us today. Well, it seems we're having a tremendous amount of problems here, so I am very sorry and apologize to everybody that is watching. This is a very embarrassing situation for me. And I'm going to close down here just a second and stop sharing and figure out how to as we can see, lots of problems here. AGC Talks is going to be carried on multiple platforms. And you will see airs every Monday. Find it on joinagc.com podcast. You'll see Mailbox Power is one of our sponsors, and thank you to our sponsor for being here. If you would like to be a sponsor, go ahead and please go to AGC Talks, support at joinagc.com. It is only $1 a day to join AGC online. Thank you to all the Accelerated Global Connect regional partners that are both online and in person. And a thank you to my St. Paul leaders and my team. And I want to remind everybody that there is a 3-year anniversary coming up on Wednesday, April 6th, and it is almost sold out. So please take a moment to check in and see. That is going to be an amazing event, and we look forward to that event. And now, without any further ado, I would like to bring this gentleman up and introduce to you all today. This is Tim Brown. Has been a private investigator in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and South Dakota since 2003, and the founder and CEO of Central Point Investigations with nearly 20 years and thousands of hours of experience. Central Point Investigation provides investigative services to businesses, insurance companies, the legal community, and the private sector. Tim Brown has expertise in background investigations, surveillance, process service, interviews, witness location, skip tracing, accident site documentation, and potential risk analysis. So without any further ado, let's welcome Tim. Hi, Tim. How are you, sir?
Hey, guys. I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I'm going to just get your first slide up here in 1 second here, Tim. And I will go ahead, and if you just want... I'll just kind of minimize this, and then I'll put you on full screen. Thank you so much for being here. And then the show's in your hand, and I will come up. As you just let me know when you want to bring me back. Just say, "Hey, Coach Les, come back."
I gotcha.
All right. Thank you very much for being here, Tim. We really appreciate it and look forward to this.
All right. Thanks, Les. So, hey, everybody. Tim Brown, private investigator, process server, legal documents. I work with businesses, individuals, and business owners, individuals, and a lot of law firms here across the country. So the reason Les brought me today, one thing we're going to talk about is how you can minimize the risk of potential employees that you're going to hire, current employees, and after the termination and or separation from your employment. So we originally had a PowerPoint here, but had a little difficulty. No problem. So a couple of things that I like to talk about, and when I talk to business owners, is it's better to know now than know later. And when we talk about, I just put a list of 11 things together: credibility, integrity, and we want a characteristic background of who you're going to hire. What you see up front is always not exactly what's in the back end. I mean, there's things probably you and I and everyone throughout our lives that we've put on MySpace or Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, things in the deep, dark web to something that's out in the open that could be there and you just can't see it. And you're too busy as a business owner anyway. So when you talk about credibility, you want to know about people's integrity, their theft, past history for theft, violence, fraud, any kind of harassment. I mentioned creditworthiness, if they've had bankruptcies, prior employment lawsuits. Usually that's at the federal level. And you want to know, are you really going to be the next person in line? Are you going to be hiring that IT person that has multiple computer forensic cases against them? And is it a harassment? Do they have harassment issues? Their DMV, if you're hiring a truck driver, a taxi cab, or some kind of chauffeur or driver, or you're a service industry. Not all of everything that you see on a regular background check through another company might have all your answers, and you might need a deeper background investigation that makes sense. Do they have drugs and alcohol charges? Is that going to affect your insurance rates? So again, it goes back to better to know now than knowing later. for the so those are the things that we look for, and it goes. We can we do a deep background check. We do a deep internet check, but really going to courthouse and get criminal, civil judgment. And just because, for example, let's say you're going to hire somebody that has a drug history. Just went through this week, actually, the last 24 hours. A gentleman had a 5th degree felony for drugs. Through the BCA, it turned out that he had a felony, but it's one of those same or similar type situations where you go to court, you meet in front of the judge, you have an excuse for what you did, and hopefully you're going to get a leniency. When you do the leniency, they say, hey, 1 year, 2 years, no same or similar, we're going to drop your felony from a felony level down to a misdemeanor or a petty misdemeanor. Now, if you're that hiring company, when you do a background check, you're going to see just a petty misdemeanor, but you may want to know that it was a felony. Or if somebody gets pulled over for drunk driving and they drop the charges, wouldn't you like to know that, hey, for the 10th time in a row, they were charged with DUI, but maybe they got off, or they were stealing and they didn't charge them with felony theft, but it was really gross theft. But I can get you those, the police reports, the incident reports, the accident investigations, and it just goes on and on and on. So for the current employees, how that works is that really often leads to surveillance. So my expertise is following a person from point A to point B. It's that employee that maybe there's a harassment, it's internal investigations where you have to interview one-on-one, or find witnesses, or locate witnesses, skip tracing, people take off on you. So for the employees that are doing timesheet fraud, trade secret fraud, violation of no compete clause, maybe you have a salesperson that is going to a convention, and the convention has a number of other people throughout the country or world that are going to be maybe at the Minneapolis Convention Center. And you have a feeling that your employee is looking to steal your clients or your customers or your database or all your customers in your CRM. And I've had plenty of these over the years where a company will call and say, hey, I think something might be going up here. We're going to a convention. My employee is going to a convention, and we overheard that he might be looking for another job. He might be looking to give out our secrets, right? So you would hire me to become an employee, or you'd just hire me to go there and gain entry and be able to communicate with people to get the truth and see what we can learn. And so we do that by covert video, and we also do it by surveillance from, going to a convention center, for example, back to the hotel, and intertwining within our environment so we can get the truth. If you have complaints about the productivity of your employees, what are they doing? Are they skipping out on clock? Are they not really going to their sales calls? Are you getting complaints about their speeding or reckless driving? Now, I'm all over the board, and that's okay. But I think outside of the box a lot, and sometimes it's hard for me just to stay in order until I'm in the middle of my investigation. The third area is separation of employment. And so I recommend a number of things, and nothing that I say is obviously legal advice, but you want to really keep an eye on your employees that that are leaving, whether it's on a good note or a bad note. Do they leave? Are you going to have an exit interview? Are you checking their social media? Are they making threats? Are they a person in the past that has made threats to other companies or other employees, whether it was maybe a sexual harassment case, and say, hey, if you fire me, I'm going to have a lawsuit, and you're going to regret it. Right? That would be a great opportunity to be able to call a private investigator like myself. We put 24/7 surveillance on these employees and make sure that we have special key points on a map, and say if they get within a certain area, then we escalate the situation. I can think of a perfect example. I had a Fortune 500 company. This is a few years ago now, but it was a very high level profile vice president, CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I called another investigator to help me out with another investigation. I asked him what he was doing. He says, hey, we're looking for this guy, and he's in St. Paul, and he's threatening, harassing the parents of the CEO, and we don't know what he's going to do next. Well, within about an hour, I was able to locate this individual and actually get video on him. I actually went up to the door. I put myself in that environment again. I analyzed the situation, the risk assessment, right? And then from there, I was able to communicate with the Fortune 500 security team in order to get a piece of paper of a cease and desist, and do not contact again. Otherwise, law enforcement will be deeper involved. Now, I am no cop, but I had the ability to take a piece of paper, could become face-to-face and deliver a very specific message. And that message is, don't contact that person again. Now, that was the end of the story. And I never got contacted about it again. But the 24/7 around the clock is so imperative. You just need to know that whether you're at the beginning of your stages, you want to know who you're hiring. You're in the middle. Maybe there's an episode that happens that you need some additional investigations or answers. And lastly is post-termination. How can you, your HR team, your executive team, your other employees, how can you all feel comfortable moving forward? Another quick example is there's a retail company just this year. They lost five employees and 15 clients within a month. And it turned out that the employees were bad-mouthing the current company they were with. They ended up leaving, and they ended up stealing the database to be able to take care of their business. So that's where that comes in. So we have a quote that we often use: for whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out in the open. Now, if you think about that, it's awesome. I hope you enjoyed that little quote. We're at the 10-minute mark. So what isn't a standard background check? So you have a lot of companies that do background checks for your company that may be very, very low level. And again, we go on felony, gross misdemeanor, petty misdemeanor, and we find out all the charges that happened prior to being charged. So you have a full overview of your client or your future employer. You want to know the true character of what's called real-time background investigations. Many times the information that you receive will be dated, especially if it's a database investigation. So by going down to the courthouse, by meeting with the sheriff department, the police department, and anybody else that might be involved in this person's life, we can really dig in deeper and get a better understanding. So again, my name is Tim Brown, Central Point Investigations, located out of St. Paul. We do surveillance. We do investigations: Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin. Be happy to help you if you need anything. Let me know. Coach Les, you're up. I can't hear you though, Coach.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
You got it.
You can hear me now? Awesome. Thank you. And I wanted to put up your quote, and there you are hiding behind the camera, Tim.
Thanks.
So I appreciate it, and thank you so much. And sorry about the once again, sorry about the lovely PowerPoint situation we had, and some of the deck. I think I now actually have it under control because I have the experience now, and we're going to go to the Q&A session. So it's here we are, and I'm going to minimize this, and if you would like to go ahead and put your questions into the chat, we would love to take a moment to see what questions you might have, and then we'll answer any questions or comments or anything like that that you may have as we go through right now. And I'm going to also just kind of zing this into the chat for everybody. Is the quote that you gave them: for whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out in the open. And when I think it would be really fun if you were to share one of the stories, especially the one I think that I for all of you, I met Tim at another networking organization. And when we were there the other day, he told us a story in 45 seconds that won him the award of the best story of the day. And I had dressed up in my Viking garb and had actually put time into it and practiced my pitch. And he comes in and sweeps it out, completely stole the show. There wasn't even a second. I even texted the person that had the award last week and was going to give it to us and said, come on, man, anything I can do. I even asked him if I could bribe him, Tim. He said, sorry.
Excellent.
So would you mind sharing that with us while some people jump in and say hello and say where they're from and click into the chat here?
Sure. No, yeah. Outside of investigations, the other part of my business is process serving, and it's legal documents for individuals, companies, and attorneys. So whether you're going to small claims, or you have an eviction, or you're going through a divorce or child custody battle, those are the type of surveillances we do as well. So like the surveillance, the divorce. But for this particular story, I don't know that I can make it as awesome as I did then, but so I got a document from somebody to serve, and it was a small claims, and it turned out to be a car accident. And the person that we were trying to locate was saying, "Oh, I didn't get in a car accident. I wasn't drinking." And so I went to one location, couldn't locate her. I did a skip trace, and I found another location. I went to that location. I'm sitting outside, getting ready to approach, and a vehicle parked behind me, and a female got out, and it's a female individual that I'm trying to serve. And the female gets out, and I get out because I'm super excited. She just got home. I see some kids' toys. She has one kid. And I get out, and I said, "Oh, are you so-and-so?" And she says, "No, I'm her aunt." And I said, "Really?" She goes, "Would you like her new address?" And I said, "Yes, I would." And so she pulls out her phone and gives me an address. I travel 23 minutes across town. I get to the next address. There's a couple tidbits I didn't tell about the story, but so I'll add this since we have another minute here. But as I came up to the apartment complex, I rang the doorbell. The office manager just let me in, didn't even ask. I got up to the third floor. As I was knocking on the door, another individual came out, and I said, "Oh, are you so-and-so?" She says, "No." And I said, "Well, can I ask you how long you've lived here?" And they said, 4 years. And that person was able to give me a lead and said, "Hey, this address and this address often get confused. Why don't you go to the next building down across the street?" So I said, "All right, great." So I went back downstairs, and I figured I'd check with the office management. As I got there, the lights were off, the blinds were closed. I'm knocking, no answer. All of a sudden, I see this professional woman walking down the hallway, and I said, excuse me, are you the manager of this property?" And she says, "Yes, I am." I said, "Hey, I have a legal document for this person. Could you tell me if she lives here or at the building next door?" "Oh, she lives at this building." So she gave me the address, which I already knew where it was. But so I went across the street to the address. And as I'm about ready to walk in, normally there's secured buildings. So I'm coming up to the door, and a person comes out the side door, and I said, hey. I was hoping they would let me in. Well, all they said is, "Hi." And then they kept on going. So I went through the main door, and lo and behold, someone that lives there, I assume, put a rug underneath the front door, the middle door of the secured entrance, and the door is wide open. I'm like, yes. So I walk in there, get up to the third floor. I knock, and I can hear people. I can hear TV. This is great. I knock. I waited a couple minutes. I knocked again. They came to the door, and I said, "Oh, are you so-and-so?" And she says, "Yes." I said, "Hey, I got a legal document from this county by this person." And she slams the door, and she says, "I've been blank served." So I had video going at this time because whenever somebody is very doesn't want to be found, that's how I improve my integrity. I'm very black and white in that I don't do anything that's outside of the realm of what we need. So when she closed the door, the other person says, "Well, what for?" She goes, "Well, I'm never going to drive a car again. I am so," she said, "stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm never going to drive again." And he's like, why? He goes, I was drinking. It was near my birthday, and I ran into this lady. And on top of that, right after that, I didn't get to share this, but right after that, she said, because I ran out of time for my commercial, but she said, $1,000. That's all it was over. $1,000. She goes, I could have fixed that with a hammer. Now that made me almost laugh out loud, but I had to stay down. And so, long story short, I was able to get audio. I was able to get video. I copied the audio to my client. The client's able to use it for court. She's saying that she never got in an accident, but by the time we were done, she got in a car accident. She was drinking. She had her kid in the car, and basically we got all the evidence that we needed in order for her to win her case.
Awesome, Tim. And by the way, Tim, we have plenty of time, so you can relax. Okay. I'm actually going to just let you see who's here. So we have Travis Sims, who's live in Cottage Grove. This is Tammy Wagner, who's part of my team. She's currently in Maplewood, Minnesota, but she didn't want to give permission to StreamYard. This is Sean Waite. He's one of the other leaders of one of the other captains of AGC. He does Arizona. Because he lives down there part of the year, and he's in Hastings, Minnesota. We have somebody from Invergrove Heights, and Travis is just saying hi to a couple friends. Stillwater, Minnesota. We have, this person. Don Bennett, there we go. And, Travis just wants to be Mr. Friendly and say hello. And let's go down and see if we have any questions now.
Hi, Travis.
What's that?
I was just saying hi, Travis.
And Christy Lee Smoda, there you go. She is somebody that does, divorce mitigation, Tim, where she's not an attorney. She's a legal, and she does everything, and can process it and all. And she meets and does a lot of mediation. She's absolutely amazing. So you never know. Maybe she could, use private investigator services. This is
especially if the mediation doesn't go great.
Yeah. And Travis says, there you go. Just about a confession. That would be Mia, I think, right? Maybe. Dawn says, hi. And, one of the things that I thought I would, have you share with us, Tim. So I've got a couple questions prepared that I wanted to ask you. And one of those is when, if I'm a small business and I have an employee that goes on to workman's comp, is that a good opportunity if I think that person is, should I say, not being completely truthful with their workman's comp? Is that an opportunity to look at hiring a private investigator to go out, follow that person? Is that an area that is part of your expertise?
Well, I do. I don't know if you knew this, Les, but I got over 60,000 hours of vehicle surveillance just on work comp alone.
Okay.
And so the answer would be yes. Whether I definitely don't give any legal advice. I'm no. For the companies that are self-insured, that's a great option.
Okay. And what would you say if why, I'm looking at your power deck too here when I was thinking of a couple questions. And what's the benefit these days? Because I've heard a couple things, right? That more and more we're hiring people that have been incarcerated, right? There's so many people that have come out that now have a felony on their record, whether it was for marijuana use, whether it was from DWI, and they're great people, right? Yes, they made a mistake, right? They ended up serving time for it. Now, what are your thoughts about that? You do a background check, it shows up, but they've already put it on their application, right? So they've been completely transparent. In your experience, are these people problematic? or are these people, when they're that transparent on their resume, what's your, quote unquote, personal opinion about that? Are they, we're in this business now today where it's tough finding employees. And now you add how many employees have a felony based on either drinking and driving or, marijuana use, because so many people feel like, hey, it's here for medical, they have all the rationale in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about that?
Well, that's a good question, Les. I would say that my thoughts is I usually don't have an opinion about anything like that, because where my passion lies is, I don't know if my camera's going out. Can you see me okay?
Yeah, you're working beautiful.
Okay. So my passion lies in just coming up with the truth and then allowing the employer, I can't say with one person or another person, if you have a felony, are you going to come out of that felony? And maybe I'm working with a guy right now. It's been 27 years since felony drug possession, a DUI, false information to a police officer, fleeing a police officer. And now he's 23 years later. He's just trying to get a regular job. Now, Kenny, it's tough. What he's going after right now is if you have a felony, he can't get the job. But what I determined today was that in one background check, and I know this, when they do a background check, it's going to show a felony. What I determined today was that the felony and good time, it turned out to be a misdemeanor, no same or similar.
Nice.
So it went from, now not every, I don't, how do I put this? I'll definitely go above and beyond to be able to make your life better, right? And so I contacted the proper authorities, and within 30 minutes, we got that changed from that level, from a felony down to the gross misdemeanor that it needed to be at. And although that company, when they contact another company to do a background check, especially if it's the automation, they go off of different databases versus real time, they may get the felony. But now we have the documentation, we have the before screenshots, we have the after screenshots, plus we have the court system showing no same or similar, and drop it down to the gross misdemeanor. I'm losing track of what it was, but all I know is that within a half hour, we got actually switched on the main database, and I was able to connect with the right people at the right time.
Beautiful. And I guess the other question that I had is, because when you and I first met, one of the things that you approached me as a business owner was, hey, let me see if you have any money that was owed to you over the past 20 or 30 years. You were able to do a background check. Sure. Remember that?
Yep.
So I just want, these were a couple points that I had were like, wow, if people that are watching knew this, because I don't remember all the details, but I know that you had said that there's state of Minnesota keeps some of this money and they keep it sitting around.
Yep. And so the unclaimed property, everybody through the state of Minnesota, everybody has access to look up their name. Unfortunately, what's happening is not all the names are populating. And I don't want to get into the specific details, but let's just say that if you need help and you want to know that if there's money behind there, I can definitely help you find that out. And you won't get the same answers that are currently online. The couple things that I didn't talk about how I help business owners, I mean, outside of the investigations and the pre-employment background check and the judgments, is judgment collection. So if somebody owes you money, I got 15 years of experience of knowing what to do, what not to do, and the process to help you get there.
Yeah, because so for me, that's a piece for your profession, right? That people, I don't even think they think about, right? You don't think about you because I didn't think about it until you told me about it. So I just wanted to make sure that that's another way to support small businesses.
Yeah, and as a business owner, you may not even want to take someone to small claim or district court. If they got 50 cases over the last 10 years and they've owed hundreds of thousands of dollars, it may not be worth your time or your money to pursue. Now, for those that the state of Wisconsin is 20 years. The judgment can be collected, and the state of Minnesota is 10 years. So on the flip side, if you happen to have a judgment against you, I can also help you there.
Oh, got it. Okay. To be able to go and how would you help somebody if you've got a judgment against you?
If you got a judgment against you, I can help you reduce that.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Tim, thank you so much for taking your time, and thanks for answering my oblique questions. I intend to do that, and I really appreciate it. And I know that what I'm going to do now is, just because I know it was on the power deck, I'm going to ask you to do something for me here, and that's I'm going to create this. Can you tell me what's the best way to get a hold of you, Tim?
So the best way is by phone number.
Okay.
I answer, as long as I have a signal, I answer the calls. So phone number is 651-357-5555. Otherwise, my email address is TwinCitiesPI.
Hold on a second. Yep.
So TwinCitiesPI, which is a private investigator, at gmail.com.
And just to make sure that, let's make sure that that is correct there. How's that look?
Yep, looks good. So capital letters are not necessary, just so you know, but that looks really good, Les. I like it.
Well, at least I can do that much, right?
And I tell you what, for any of the business owners that are on this or the rerun, if you well, specifically if you're here live right now, I'd like to offer a free process service, no charge, just anywhere here in the Twin Cities.
Well, thank you for doing that. Appreciate that. And Tim, I'm going to slide you back into the so that you can watch the rest of this, and I'll see if you're laughing if I as I get back into this. Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you didn't want to ask a question now, I'm happy to answer any questions I can possibly. And if I don't know, I'll find someone that can.
Awesome. All right. And here we are. AGC Talks, live broadcasts, upcoming AGC events. If you go to joinagc.com, you'll see that these are the other places where we do have events throughout the United States. I want to take a brief moment to thank tonight's premier sponsor, Global IT. This is Gandhi Wong. He is absolutely amazing, does all of the IT. And if you go to our website and you'll see it, he's phenomenal. Just want to do a quick shout out for him. And one thing about Accelerated Global Connection is the community that we have. As you take a look at the website, not only do we have a great website where all the events are captured and all of the videos from all the previous events, we also have an internal messaging system that allows you to send direct messages internally, because we are about creating a network. And we're super excited. Once again, in-person events are going to be starting on April 6th. That'll be the reinstitution of in-person events again, where you get to network in person for 45 minutes. And then there is this TED Talk style talk like this that you had today, AGC Talk, where they speak for 12 to 15 minutes on a topic that supports local businesses and small businesses. And then we go back to networking live in person. And it's absolutely a phenomenal time. So would love to see you at that. And once again, it's only $1 a day to become a member of at joinagc.com. And thank you for watching.